Imagine a world where robots don't just follow instructions. They learn the way babies do, not programmed but nurtured, not rigid but curious. In Japan, that world is becoming a reality. Meet one of the most fascinating projects in modern robotics, a robot designed to learn like a human child. Japan has always been a pioneer in robotics, from industrial machines to humanoid assistants like Pepper and Asimo. The country has led innovation for decades. But this project is different. This isn't just another machine that does what it's told. This is about creating an artificial being that develops skills through experience, interaction, and even mistakes, just like us. The research behind this comes from leading Japanese institutes that focus on robotics and AI. The goal is to build robots that don't rely solely on pre-coded commands. Instead, they start with basic abilities, and over time, through sensory feedback, trial and error, and human interaction, they grow smarter. Think of how a baby learns to grab a toy or recognize a parent's voice. This robot uses similar principles. Cameras act as eyes, sensors act as a sense of touch, and advanced neural networks act as a developing brain. The reason Japan is pursuing this approach has a lot to do with its future. Japan has an aging population and a shrinking workforce. There is an urgent need for care robots that can adapt to real-life situations, whether that's assisting elderly people, helping in hospitals, or even supporting households. A robot that can learn naturally could handle unexpected challenges, not just fixed routines. So how does this robot actually learn? It starts with imitation. When researchers move an object or perform a simple task, the robot observes. Its cameras record the movement, and its neural network tries to replicate it. At first, the motions are awkward, just like a toddler trying to stand up. But over time, with thousands of small corrections, the movements become smoother. The more it practices, the better it gets. And the most fascinating part, it can apply what it learned in one scenario to a completely new situation. Imagine you teach the robot how to pick up a ball. Later, it can use the same principles to pick up a cup. That's called generalization, and it's a major breakthrough in robotics because it moves us closer to real-world AI, machines that can adapt instead of just execute. Now here's the part that blows people's minds: emotional learning. Researchers have been experimenting with giving these robots basic emotional feedback. Not real feelings, of course, but simulated reactions that influence their learning. For example, when the robot succeeds at a task, it receives a positive signal. When it fails, it gets a negative one. Over time, it develops a preference for success, which means it's motivated to improve just like humans.
For people watching this in the US, UK, or Canada, this might sound like something out of a science fiction film, but in Japan it's seen as a natural evolution of technology. Japanese culture has long embraced robots not as threats, but as partners. From anime like Astro Boy to real life service robots in hotels and stores, there's a deep-rooted belief that machines can coexist with humans in harmony. This cultural trust gives Japan a unique advantage in experimenting with human-like AI. Of course, there are challenges. Teaching a robot like a baby takes enormous amounts of time and data. Babies learn through millions of experiences. Every single day, what happens when a machine tries to replicate that? The hardware needs to be incredibly advanced. The AI needs to process sensory input in real time. And then there's the ethical question. If a robot learns like a child, how do we treat it? Is it just a tool or something more? Some researchers argue that robots like these could revolutionize elderly care in Japan. Imagine a robot that not only understands how to serve tea, but can learn how to comfort someone who seems upset, or assist a bedridden patient without being explicitly programmed for every tiny movement. That level of adaptability could change the healthcare industry forever. But let's not forget, this is still experimental. The robot is far from perfect. Sometimes it fails. Sometimes it struggles with basic tasks that even toddlers master easily. And yet every failure is progress, because each mistake is data. And data is what makes this robot smarter. So is this the future of AI? Will robots that learn like babies become the norm? Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in the next decade, but the groundwork is being laid right now in Japan. And what's clear is that this research is pushing us closer to a world where machines aren't just tools, they're learners, thinkers, and maybe one day companions. If you're planning a trip to Japan, or you're just fascinated by the future of technology, this is something worth watching closely. Because the robots of tomorrow won't just work for us, they might grow up alongside us.